It's almost here. It's getting closer. It's the downtime. It's going to be a quiet night. No, it's not. We have questions to answer. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Who's going to be in camp? Who's going to be where? Who's going to be the starters? Who's not? Who's not going to make this roster? I know you guys have questions. We're going to answer them tonight live. Mr. Dan Harms and me here on RGR Football.
No, I can't hear Ryan.
Well, the whole thing is toast then. Can you see me yet? Yeah, the intro is still frozen on my side, so I'm just going to hide that. And welcome back, everybody. Hope you're doing well. The first Monday night Q&A, and we don't have any updates. And I know minicamp just finished. That's all right. We have all kinds of speculation to go through because, good Lord, there's all kinds of stuff that could still happen, right? Like Dan and I are both hard at work. I'm getting ready to move for those of you who don't know. So Dan's taking up the slack for me a little bit. We're doing everything that we can to get ready for this because there's so many options. So if you're new to us, make sure that you like this video. Make sure you sub to the channel. Make sure you click that bell because we're going to have more. Like Dan is right now, look at him. So calm and cool and collected. Well, in 24 hours from now, you members are going to get something that's going to blow the top off of the channel because he's holding it all in right now.
It's a nice, it's like a volcano, you know, it's just, until it explodes, it's very calming. It's like a mountain. It looks very nice in the distance. And then when it's exploded, it's not exactly that frame that you once knew. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to watch it because I'm telling you right now, there is some stuff in that podcast that didn't need to be said. It didn't need to be said. So
right. I mean that's the thing. And folks, what we're talking about is Tyrek had some things to say. I tried to keep my face out of it. Dan tried to keep out of it, but that's over. There's some things that need to be said, and Dan's going to cover that. So we're gonna have that for the members. If you are not a member yet and you want to join and support the channel, that's the easiest way to do it because you get some extra goodies like these things that are on blast, really, like the raw reaction to things. As Stevie would say, unadulterated. We put that behind the members window. Stevie is in the house. You can see him and Aaron and Gooch over at Back Talk Bros. That's their new channel of unadulterated content. You can still find Rogue Head Huddle here. That is, not. It's got the limiter on it. Like there's a catalytic converter on the Rogue Head Huddle. That's what it is. It's all muscle car over on Back Talk Bros. So check that out. Liz, our fearless moderator, is here, part of our two-headed Morrow duo that takes care of the chat for us. So be nice to her or she'll kick your booty out of here. So especially if you're from another fan base, you've been warned. Just letting y'all know. Lot going on for me personally. It's that time of where we're at in the summer. So I'm going to be in and out. My videos are probably going to stay on the short side like they had the last couple of weeks. Dan's got it locked down. We're going to do the lives. It may just be a rotation of who's on the live. So be prepared. It's going to be a lot of fun. So like for me, I put it on the thumbnail and we'll start there. And then we're going to get to all your questions, folks. If you want to sub, if you're subbed and you want to support the channel, the memberships is one way. Super chats is the easier. If you super chat us, you will get an answer no matter what, I guarantee. But if you do choose to support us, please put a question so we can answer it. We'll answer other questions too. It just needs you to put the question marks at the beginning of your question, because if not, I have a hard time seeing them because there's so many comments. So the super chats stand out. That's what they're for. They're meant to draw the attention of the host. Well, I need a little bit of help. Well, probably in more than one way, but the big thing for me today is that this offense, this whole team has to evolve. But in particular, Patrick's got to evolve. And I know he's aware of this. The question for you, Dan, is do you think he can do it where he locks himself down and keeps going with what he needs to do? And shout out to Big Chief Sean. He just joined as well. Another part of our channel. And check out Big Chief Sean's channel as well. This Back Talk Boys and all the stuff that you need.
So,
sorry.
No, it's fine. Like, this is going to be the season for Patrick Mahomes. Like, we've seen Patrick do what he's done with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. This is all on him because we know that Travis Kelce is going to get his. We know he's going to get the bulk of the attention from the defense. It's a whole new cast without regards to McCole Hardman and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's essentially a bunch of new players like he's going to have to work with. He's got to take some steps forward. Last year, everything culminated into the worst performance, worst half he's ever had, largely because of trust in the system. They went back to things that they did in the first half of that Bengals AFC Championship game and didn't work. Well, there was nothing built in the offense to counter off of it because they continued to do the same things that they had been doing all game that worked in the first half, and it wasn't working. So now you revamp the offense. Mahomes has to start doing a better job of not just assuming things are going to be there. That was one of the biggest problems in that game, is the RPO assumption that a player was going to be open off of that RPO fake. Didn't work out. So you have to adjust. Now you have new players, a bunch of different skill sets. How are they going to open up the offense specifically? How are they going to use the run game in coordination with it? So I'm expecting Patrick to have not just a bounce back type of year, because it was his worst season as a starter when he wasn't injured. And I'm expecting him to have a bounce forward, understanding better, adjusting, adapting his play to what the defense is showing, and not just entrusting that everything's going to work out pre-scripted.
Fair enough. What I'm trying to say there when Dan's talking, folks, is punch, counter punch. That's basically what it is. They threw you a loop and you tried to power through it. It didn't quite work the way that you wanted. They adapted towards the end of the season, but there's got to be more to it. And I feel like they're really going to be prepared. We got one comment on the channel the other day, and I don't know whether it was from a sub or not. It didn't look like it to me. So it might be somebody who's a newcomer who really wanted me to explain why I'm so high on the addition of Matt Nagy. Like because he was a failed head coach, that he doesn't have something to offer Patrick in fitting back into the Reed regime and this offense. And really, I just got to put it this way. He doesn't have to be all of it now. He just gets to add his particular spice to the mix. And this gumbo is getting better and better every time, right?
Yep. That's all it is. Like, this is going to be, everyone's not got to be a contributor now. Everybody. Like, not just, you can't just assume Tyrek and Travis are going to carry it. It can't be that way. You can't. No. Mahomes has to elevate everybody now. It has to be the everybody and Patrick Mahomes show. That's what it has to be.
I'm totally with you. Okay, we're going to get to your questions, folks. Make sure question marks at the beginning. Hit the super chats. We will take care of you. Most likely to be traded to the Dolphins next. Who would it be?
I don't have a clue about this. Like,
could it be Rojo? Could you send him back to Florida? If you didn't get what you were trying to invest in, do you think he has any value?
No. If he's not what you thought he was going to be, there's a very minimal contract. He could easily be cut. So yeah. I could understand that. If Miami thinks that he could be their lead back, yeah, sure. But I got no issues with that, trying to get something out of him. But the most likely guy, it's got to be one of the corners, right? There's like 20 of them on the roster. Like, maybe somebody with some experience.
Maybe like a DeAndre Baker.
Maybe like a Rashad Fenton. I don't know. You're looking at one of those two guys. Yeah, who knows?
And I think Fenton I still have faith in him. I know he didn't play that well that last year.
I do too.
I think he had more penalties than PBUs.
It was a pretty bad ratio for penalties.
Yeah. But I still have faith that he can be one of the top 4 on this team. Now, if the shoulder's bothering him or they don't see that, then yes, he's a guy who's made plays. He's made great interceptions in this league. Like, he has some film that you could shop around. That makes sense to me. And I do think there's still Baker believers out there as well, because I think Baker's in for a fight, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So, John, are we really going into the season with the lineup for edge? Fans want something more like Dunlap. What will Veach do? WWVD. I'm gonna make a shirt with that. That's what I'm making next.
That's a really good
idea. The only thing that I can tell you, John, is in my opinion, is he will do something. I don't think he'll stand pat. I think he understands that you need more options. Does that mean a trade at maybe not even before the season, maybe a trade deadline trade? Does it mean one of the older guys like Dunlap? I think Dunlap's a fine option, but it's all about whether you can reach a contract.
Yeah.
And for that to happen right now, Brett Veach has to be concentrated on Orlando Brown, in my opinion, because they got to get that done in order to make a bigger signing. So it's like dominoes.
Yes.
At this point in the season, a lot of things are locked in, and now it's just about competition. Whoever doesn't make it, doesn't make it. But new acquisitions have to come kind of in a domino order at this point.
Yeah, we've had this question just about every single week. And unfortunately, John, we don't have a better answer this week than we did last week. We just kind of have to wait and see what he does. But we will guarantee you that there's no way they stand pat. And if there is, I got nothing.
Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh. We're in trouble. Oh, what would Veach do? Okay, that's coming, folks. Or what will Veach do? Any actual word on Jody Fortson? What I got from the folks that were at practice is that he looks good, that he looks 90% of what he was. We also heard from Andy saying that he's making plays and he's catching touchdowns. Again, it's on air, it's OTAs, but he's on the way back. He's rehabbed. He's ahead of schedule for his Achilles. Like that is, it's really nice to see. And if he is as motivated and inspired as I think he is, I think we can expect him to pick up right where he left off.
I'm so excited you asked this question, Scott, because it just segues right into our Wednesday film review, because we are going to talk about Jody Fortson on Wednesday. Why am I so excited? Why is Ryan so excited? I'm going to talk about exactly why we're excited. And hearing that he's ahead of schedule, just it makes me giddy, because it makes everything that I talk about on Wednesday feels like it could really come to fruition. So I'm even more excited. So
dude, I am so with you. Folks, this is the channel right here, Back Talk Bros, that you can go get there. This is Stevie, I believe, running this. You tell me if I'm wrong.
So.
Stevie. But Stevie, Aaron, Gooch, their show, Back Talk Bros, is different. It's more unadulterated. It's raw. And that's what we should call it. You should call it Rogue Head Raw. That's what it should be, Stevie. I think that's the best way to describe it. That's awesome. Go check out their channel. Get subbed and give them the love they deserve. Pono, hope you're doing well. How perplexing that Brett is so nonchalant in addressing the weaknesses of the D-line. Your thoughts on him not being aggressive on filling the massive gap? I think he got burned. I think they had Melvin kind of lined up and kind of in their sights and thought they probably had that done. I think he's scrambling a little bit. I will also tell you this. It does not help Brett Veach to do anything that appears desperate in the eyes of the rest of the GMs around the league, because you got to call those guys and try to make a deal. Mm-hmm. So the calm, cool, and collected is part of the persona of, I got this. I'm going to need something from you, buddy. Steve Keim, I'm going to need something. You just drafted 2 edges. I'm going to need somebody. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing is going on in the background, Pono. That's my true feeling.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not crazy? Okay, cool. I love it when I'm confirmed not crazy. Scotty, I mean, what exactly is content adultery? I mean, there are ways. There are people that will try to play it both ways and put the same content on 2 things. Stevie Gooch and Aaron are not doing that. The huddle is one thing. Back Talk Bros is another. So I think you guys will definitely dig the difference. I really think you'll dig it. So get in there and try it out. Thoughts on one media company push saying that they should trade for a 4th round. I don't even know who that was. It's ridiculous. They're not trading Clyde, period. No. It's ridiculous. Whoever was putting that out, and my guess is it's somebody that starts with chat. They don't know a damn thing about this team. And the guy that yaks at you all day long and gets all the clicks and the subs and says, like me and say stuff in the chat, they don't know a damn thing. Sorry. This gets me a little fired up.
Ryan's going to have his own rant going up about some things. But yeah, this is kind of a... Yeah, this is just something that people always connect the dots to something that's not theirs. One, specifically because the Giants are going to run Saquon essentially into the ground this year. They're not going to trade him because he's going to be a pretty big, valuable asset to their season. They have to see what they have in Daniel Jones. They also have to have this offense with weapons around him to see that Brian Daboll can do things, because they're not getting rid of Daniel Jones either. So you can't just get rid of one of the most explosive weapons that they're going to have at his disposal. And saying that the Chiefs would trade Clyde in a 4th for Saquon is just kind of, I don't know. Ridiculous doesn't really have the edge to it.
It's too nice, right?
Yeah, it's just too nice. And that's not saying that I think Clyde's going to have like a 2,000-yard season, because he's not. It's because I love Saquon, but even if you're going to trade for him, you have to get more. You're going to have to give more than that. Anyway, and then hope that he stays healthy.
Folks, I'd like to introduce you to our new producer, Jeremy Bloss, who will now set everything up so that I can blow up. Jeremy, well done. Good job. I the only reason I react that way is because I get this question everywhere I go. I was on radio in California last week and somebody asked me this silliness. And I'm like, why would you even care? But fine, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. You hit the mark. You did really well there, Jeremy. And sometimes, folks, sometimes we need a producer to just kind of set things up, get us rolling. That's what I'm talking about. Julian, I think the O-line will set the tone consistently at a high level, and ultimately will play ball control this year and help cover up the defensive issues. What are your thoughts, Dan?
So I'm hoping. I'm also not putting a bunch of stock into Andy Reid all of a sudden consistently running the football and setting the tone that way. But what I think will happen is we're going to see an RPO shift, a downturn in the RPO amount, if not so much that they're going to be handed off and not just thrown like we've seen. Take advantage of those wide splits that you're going to get from the defensive line and the linebackers, because you can do that with the RPOs. You hit them quick early, you get them cheating a little bit, then you can run it inside. That's what they should have been doing all along. The problem comes when Mahomes gets in a rhythm. Andy Reid doesn't want to call him out of it, and they don't just run it when you have the favorable matchups. So we're going to see if they finally take to that this year, and if they don't, with their new weapons and their offensive line in the second year, then they never will. Period.
I'll tell you guys this: the term of the preseason, the early season, is going to be pressing.
Yeah,
you're going to hear announcers say that constantly, because it is going to be about whether Patrick can just settle down and take what's there, or whether he continues to try to hit passes when he's not set up well, when he's fighting against 7 and 8 man coverages, when it is the better option to just run the ball and reset. That's what they're going to be talking about. And I'm sure we're all going to get tired of that term, but It's coming. But I will say the other thing that could go along with that, Julie, is that if Andy goes back to the 3 tight end sets, the bunch formations, where he can play ball control with quick screens, tunnel screens, those kind of things, I do think he will do that. Like the short passing game, I think will come back this season in an effort to be that ball control, even though he doesn't want to run, which, I got nothing. Come on, Andy Heck. You should be stomping on tables to run the ball. You know this.
Especially with this offensive line.
I know, right? Like no one should want to run the ball more than Andy Heck right now is what I'm saying. So, yeah. Thanks, Julian. Steven, thank you. Who else? Who needs to evolve the most? Andy, Patrick, or Spags?
This is a no-brainer.
I will say Andy has to come out of this evolution, because it's not evolution for Andy. Andy's already been there. He's shown bits of it, like with Westbrook, like he's shown bits of it early when he had Jamal. He just keeps going away from it. He's been there. He just has to get back to it. I think Spags needs to evolve his system. I think Patrick needs to evolve his maturity and his decision-making. Like Andy just needs to get back to it, to tell you the truth, because he has gone down the road at least, a couple steps before.
Yeah, we have Andy at least showing. We've had Patrick learn last year, evolve his game to take everything underneath. We have had 3 seasons of Steve Spagnuolo doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, not learning. It's Steve Spagnuolo. He needs to adjust his scheme. He needs to run a little bit more cover 3, a little bit more cover 4 stuff, and a little bit more getting athletes at the defensive end position.
Yeah. We'll talk draft here later in the summer, you guys. How you doing? Thank you, Sam. We're doing pretty good.
Doing good.
Dan Sunburn is gone and his swelling's down, so that's good.
Good. Having a good
do you find a reason Ross missed a few practices with his history being scary? For me, also Brown seems to be likely everything the Chiefs post so far looks harmonious and a good sign. I don't think the Chiefs are going to put anything up that's negative. So just so you know. But yes, I think Orlando wants to be here. I think his new agent has a mark he wants to make. Mm-hmm. Say he got the biggest left tackle contract. So I think it's going to be more of a push from the agent than anything. But I will say this, that I do feel it's more than likely to get done at this point. It feels good to me so far. Now, as far as Ross, the soft tissue stuff doesn't necessarily bother me because he doesn't have a history of that. He has a history of structural issues in his spine which bothered the hell out of me.
Well, he tore
like that's
ACLs
if he was like, "Oh, my
high
neck
school.
hurts," I'm like, "Okay." Right, yeah, back in the day, right?
Yeah, he's got
But
it's a pretty
that also
significant injury history. Yeah, but it's kind of scary. Regardless, it's a little off-putting to say the least. Dealing with injuries almost every year in high school, and then
yeah, like the volume of injuries. I agree that can be significant, but the hamstring in particular isn't something that he's had a ton of. So I'm not too concerned about that one in particular. But if next week, if it's a quad or if it's a shoulder, you know what I mean? Like if it just starts snowballing, then yeah, Sam, it's something to watch. Chiefs Enjoyer, I like that tag. Nice. I know Dan said where he would rank Orlando among the tackles the other day, but what APY would be the max you guys would be willing to pay? I'm thinking 21. That's in the range that I've been saying, like 19 to 21 is what I've been thinking. What's Trent? 23.2, something like that?
Yeah, Trent is and we don't compare. We shouldn't ever compare contracts other people will get to Trent Williams. You just shouldn't, period. 21 is approaching the I don't want to.
Yeah, that's fair.
For Orlando Brown, because I actually talked about this on the radio today with Sterling Holmes. You don't have anything on tape to say he's ever even flashed top 5 upside, period, ever. Yeah. Not once. That's where it starts to get scary. That's the same thing with Frank Clark. They said they viewed him as a top 5 eventual defensive end in the NFL. Never, ever even came close to his level of play in Seattle. So you can't just start paying out things that have never happened and never even shown. You can't do it.
I'm with you. And that's why I say like Trent's at 23. So like even at 21, that's approaching top 5. You know, and if Trent Williams is at 23, there's nowhere that I can go over 21. So the question is, what will Orlando take? Where does he set his value? Because I know what he wants to be. Does he actually realize what he is right now? Hi, you're hiding back there.
We see you.
It's Monday, Dad. I found the spot. That's awesome. Terry, if someone was willing to give you actual value for Clyde, I mean, I would always entertain. I'll listen to any deal.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that they actually do it.
I don't think so
because at the end of the day, this is about Coach Reed and his enjoyment of Clyde's skill set. Even if he ignores using it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to pass on him. He doesn't want him out of the building. You know what I mean? From what I hear, he's a good teammate.
Yeah. I do think they like Clyde quite a bit. I really think that they do. And I think.
It happens.
Yeah. So there's that.
That's what happens when you got kids, bro. Chad, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you.
She just knocked it over and ran.
Did she split?
She ran.
I'm out of here. Oh. Thank you for being here, Chad. And thank you for always supporting us. You were very kind, both monetarily and with your support on social media. Very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chad.
I know there's not much going on. Don't worry. We're going to cover all the things that could and should and may happen as we go through the offseason. And I know this is the slow part of the season, right? But this is where it gets really interesting about what could be happening.
Yeah.
There are guys in dark rooms with marker boards drawing up plays right now. His name's Andy Reid. I guarantee you. His wife might be like, will you come to dinner? He's like, no, I got stuff to do down here. Stuff's going on. Julian, hypothetically, if EB left and we signed Sean Payton for 1 year after his TV year, how much would it change the offense within that year, styles, patterns, consistency? That is an incredible question, because outside of Sean McVay, I would say that Sean is the next best offensive mind in this league. Can two guys with that kind of caliber coexist? I don't know. That's a tall order.
The answer to that question is no, because Sean Payton, I believe, is a very egotistical person. Okay. Do you 100% believe after he was a head coach of the Saints, won a Super Bowl, would come and be an offensive coordinator under Andy Reid and have to take second fiddle to him? I don't believe it for a second. I don't.
The only reason I could see it is because I think his time in New Orleans got to the point where it was just so much pressure on top of him. Maybe he just wants to call some wacky plays and like help and not have like, you know, like the guy in A Few Good Men, right? Hi, I'm Sam. I have no responsibility here whatsoever. You know, like maybe it would be a relief. It would certainly be a dream team of a coaching staff. Like I'd love to see it, but I agree. I think it's hard to see it actually happening. But I think what you would see is Probably more spread. I think Sean Payton embraced the true spread a little bit more. I also think that at times he ran the ball better. He certainly understands how to use the tailback in the passing game a little bit more than we've seen in the last few years. So, hey, maybe it's enough to just go to Maui and put the guys on the same beach and see what happens. They might be there right now. It's June 20. So, yeah, they're probably somewhere.
It's all right. I see you in there, Gooch. Don't worry. I'll get to your question. I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Oh, I got Gooch in here somewhere. I think I already I'm just stacked up behind. We'll get there. I'm on the way.
Fine. I was telling why.
Whatever. See, that's what we need is we need you two to have a rant together. That's what we need. How do you think that the new receiver core will hold up? I feel they will do well if they and Pat keep building up their chemistry, and I feel that Pat has a lot more of a receiver selection. I like your point of view, Andrew. I think more targets, as long as Patrick doesn't get set on exploiting deep all the time, especially early in the season, if he can train himself out of that a little bit more, I think he's going to have way more options of clean plays that he can throw to.
That's what it is. Like the skill set, the multiplicity, being able to get guys that can get open on not just in zone, but against man, I think is going to be very, very important. And they kind of need varied skill set, the wide receiver position. They've had DeMarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle over the last couple of years, and they have been unable to win against man coverage when Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce have been covered. So I think that they're trying to find ways to do where they can actually get that successful this year.
Yeah, I sure think I think Juju's going to be wonders at that, especially in the red zone. It sounds like MVS is really clicking on some of the bigger concepts when the field's more open, but when the field shrinks, I feel like that's Juju time right now. So let's see if that pans out that way. Jake, thank you for the support. Appreciate you. Do you guys think that the ground game will improve to give the wide receivers more time to adjust to Mahomes on the field? I just can't put everything on McCole train yet. McCole train. Oh, I like that one too. I'm getting all kinds of shirt ideas here. Okay. Do you think they lean heavier on the run just because of timing and new wide receiver group?
No, I just don't. I think that this is Patrick Mahomes, and this kind of leads into a little bit of what Gooch is talking about with Clyde, is that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's the most gifted, talented passer probably ever outside of maybe Dan Marino, period. Like there's no question. Like that's what it is. And the offense, the plays, the calls will be in his hands, and Andy Reid wants it that way. He doesn't want it in a run to set up the pass. It should be a mindset of throw to set up the run. And they've had that for years, and they just refuse to take advantage of it from time to time. And when they have, Clyde's been dealing with his injuries the past couple of years and been sometimes ineffective, largely ineffective at times, specifically last year coming off of his injury. I think he was much better at taking advantage of that his rookie year. I think it showed, actually. Go to the Buffalo Bills game, his rookie year. That they said, no, you're not going to throw it. They said, fine, we'll run it 26 times and do whatever we want. And they did. But he was unable to do it last year. So I personally think that this is always going to be in Patrick Mahomes' hands. And if they have to deviate, it will be because they're forced to. But this way, last year they adjusted with the short passing game to now make it so, well, Patrick can do what he needs to do. So I don't know. I just see it going through Mahomes at all costs. And that's just kind of a little bit to the detriment of the offense at times.
At times. I mean, to him too. I mean, it's exhausting to throw that many passes at the end of the year too. He doesn't seem to be affected by it, so they're kind of riding it. But I'll tell you this, the biggest boon to the run game is rain.
Yes, it is.
It's bad weather. That's going to be what it is. So I'm praying for rain every Sunday night. That's where I'm at. Whiskey Bravo, and thank you, Jake. Appreciate you. Whiskey Bravo, appreciate you and your support as well. You guys are always the true clan members here that keep us rolling. Part of the RGR clan, that RGR Nation, Rogue Nation, we have 17 million names for it. But if you guys want in it, you can join the memberships and become part of the inner circle. And that's when you get to hear the craziness that comes out of some of our raw reactions, as well as some other things that are actually part of this group that make it so special. I know there's other channels you can watch on this thing. We talked about one of them before. Don't have the kind of group that we have here. It's a big community, and I'm proud to be part of it. So thank you all. Whiskey, any players that you would target from other teams in jeopardy of getting cut or placed into the trade block before the season starts? I haven't heard a lot of rumors about trade block type stuff, But clearly, positionally, anything edge-wise that you think has some legs, Robert Quinn's going to be the big name there that they say that they're unhappy. I don't know if that's true. I could be wrong, but who knows? But anything that pops up edgewise that has a modicum of pressure prowess, you got to look into at this point just to have a safety net. That's really
I agree with you there. I'm with you there. We're going to find out probably more in the next couple of months about trade ideas. In training camp, you start to get some of those. Well, this guy's not going to make it, so let's try and trade him around. I think that's what you're going to start seeing in the next few months.
I'm with you, Steven. If the season goes down the drain, would you stay the cores or continue building through the draft, or would you make another free agent splash? I mean, it's always going to be both. I don't think it's all or nothing. There's never going to be a year where they don't sign free agents. But I believe the 4 core positions, quarterback, cornerback, edge, and tackle, need to be draft picks. You can put Band-Aids on it, but in the end, you need to have the ability to scout, select, and develop those 4 positions. Obviously, Patrick's one of them. So now you're down to 3. And so I think the McDuffie and Karlaftis situations tell us right now, Niang and even Kennard tell us that they're continually investing in the younger guys, and they're going to try to develop them. And I think that's the best way to go about it.
I like it.
Chief Sean is here. What's up, Sean? Folks, make sure you go sub to Sean's channel too. You can find it by just saying Big Chief Sean right there. I'm trying to point correctly, and backwards it sucks. I know everyone is so concerned with the wide receiver core, but how old we are going to try to improve the run game, what opportunities are we going to take to make the proper adjustments? Whew, man. That's the $1 million question.
Yep.
Will they? It's not can they. They have the ability. There's no question about that. It's will they? I don't know. I don't know, Sean. I want to say it's tomorrow, but
yeah,
every time I get optimistic, they smash my dreams.
It's always the golden question about the run game, but the proper adjustments, things like that. I'm just going to let you guys know, as long as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback, you're probably going to be left wanting in terms of the run game and making those type of adjustments, just because your offense should run through your best player, and it will always run through Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Julian, I think Mahomes will learn from last year, consistently get the ball out, especially after the first part of the season. What are your thoughts? I hope so. I think tempo is important for him right now. So I want to share your faith. I'm not 100% convinced yet, Julian, but I agree. That's what needs to happen. I hope that it does. I hope.
We're going to do this, Julian. We're going to be there with you.
Good evening, Brian. Dan, thanks for your service to our country. So watching every draft year seems Goodell gets booed on stage. Thoughts? Ryan, Jurassic Park was awesome. Okay, rock on. I like it. Dan, why so much animosity for is it just nobody wants to have a parent in the NFL?
Yeah, this is not just the NFL. This is everywhere. Even Adam Silver, who's probably the greatest basketball commissioner ever, gets booed at drafts. It's a thing that everyone does. Nobody likes the commissioner. You're supposed to boo the commissioner just because they had this thing they want to. I don't know. I've never gotten it, but whatever. It's a good time.
Hey. Jets fans make a living out of it. Jackson Sloan, thank you for the support. Appreciate you. Please come back, ask a question, put some question marks in it, and I'll get you something for it. I'm sorry that I missed that. If you did put a second one, I've lost that. I'm so far behind at this point, you guys. Why aren't pads allowed in preseason training? Does it make the difference in the long run? It makes a slight difference, but it's because of the CBA. Anytime you have pads, you're putting more wear and tear on the body in the spring. There's no collisions. There's no hitting in the spring because of the CBA, because the NFLPA is there to protect the players and keep the wear and tear on their bodies down. That's in the CBA agreement. That's all.
Yep.
It's not optional.
No,
it's not anything the coaches are doing or anything like that.
Players don't want it.
Yep. And I don't blame them. On average, the NFL career is 3 years long. You make it past that, everything you're going to save hits on your body is longevity and dollars you can make. So more power to them. Tex Garrett, nice to see you, bud. Any receiver question after 87? Which receiver bags the most yards, most TDs or yards? What do you think? Who are the leaders outside of Travis Kelce?
I will hold firm in this because I've said it already all offseason. I think McCole Hardman will lead the Chiefs in receiving yards. Touchdowns is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to say Juju for now. I think that he can be the tough guy at the goal line. Maybe they start throwing more jump balls. If they do, that might lean more towards MVS. But it could realistically be any of the receivers that lead in touchdowns, and I wouldn't be surprised. It's gonna be so different.
I think yardage is going to be MVS with McColl very closely behind, because I think McColl's going to have a couple. I'll call it 4 60+ yard plays.
And that's the thing, is I think that he can get more of those this year. We'll see.
But for touchdowns, I agree. I think it's Juju. I think especially in red zone, I think he's got the body to physical up on safeties and still win. So
he's caught the most touchdowns out of any of the receivers on the team in his career and even in his season. So he's got that going for him. I think he can do it again.
Yeah, he even caught touchdowns from Ben Roethlisberger's ghost. So I mean, he can do everything.
He caught 8 in 2020, so he was doing something right.
Right. The closer we get to the season, this is Chiefs comments. The less Juju signing makes sense. They're more committed to MVS, Sky, and TK. He might be the leading wide receiver. I don't know about that. Would they actually resign him? I think what OTAs tells you, and we learned this from Noah Gray and a couple of others. OTAs is experimentation. This is them ramping something up or exploiting something or trying to find something. I think they know what they have in Juju. I don't think there's as much question about how he's going to fit in the offense. MVS was asked to do a very specific set of routes in Green Bay. He was not the all-round receiver the Chiefs want him to be. So I feel like it's more about that in trying to expand it myself.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Travis is Travis.
Yeah.
Okay. Would they actually re-sign him, though? What's your opinion?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure yet. We'll have to kind of wait and see.
I'll put it this way. If he leads them in any receiving category, they re-sign him.
I can get down with that.
Julian, if CEH doesn't perform as expected this upcoming season, are we drafting RB in 2023's draft? No. They will learn their lesson, and Brett Veach will not draft another top 100 running back again.
He doesn't specify top 100. I do think that they'll draft.
Yes. Yes. Day 3 running back, sure, every year. Take 2 of them every year for all I care. Never again in the top 100, ever. Brett, do you hear me? If anybody has Veach's number, tell him to text me. We have to get this sorted out. KL, how are you doing? Thanks for the support. I know Spags is Spags, but what if you were the D coordinator? What would you do to elevate the current roster? It's real simple.
Go ahead.
It's called a speed rush. He
said the current roster.
Yeah, to elevate it. I would add more speed rush. That's what I'm saying. I would elevate it by without changing personnel. Quite frankly, what I would do is I would make Leo Chanel the additional D lineman. He just would never put his hand in the dirt.
Yeah.
But he will be occupying an A gap on one side of Derek Nottie, one way or the other, every day, all day, every down that happens, and force them so they can't double team Chris Jones. And Frank Clark has a chance to do something. And if they want to chip George, fine. Now they're down to keeping 6 guys in pass protection every down. And this DB group will be able to handle that.
Amoeba fronts. I would incorporate amoeba fronts with these guys because they need to be able to get a little bit faster towards the quarterback. And if you can get Brian Cook, Willie Gay, Leo Chanel down at the line and then back people up, guess what? You have a better chance of getting to the quarterback quickly. If I had to do that right now, that's what I would do.
Okay. Well done. Sorry, I get a little fired up sometimes. Patty, thank you for the support.
Thank you,
very much appreciate it. Patty is one of our members, folks. Say hi and give her a hand. Thanks for the super sticker. Terry, did you guys see the training camps schedule? Yeah, and I ran it down for everybody here on the channel a couple days ago. You can go back and watch that one. Paddock, is Jerry Early maybe a younger, cheaper Jerick McKinnon? If so, does Jerry have a shot at the 53? I mean, we both saw it. Other draft experts, quote unquote, have said there's like a 1-to-1 relationship about how much he reminds him of that. And yes, in my opinion, he's not as developed as Jerick was as a rookie in terms of like route running,
he's
especially
also
releases.
Small. He is smaller than Jerick is. Like,
is he? I thought they were roughly the same height.
I didn't think they were. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. But regardless, he cannot pass block. Jerick can pass block. He can do it.
Yeah.
Jarian.
No, if Jarian's in the play, he's running a route. He's not staying in to protect. So there is no way around that. But yes, there are some things there, but I think he's a year away from being able to really contribute, Paddock. Gooch, let's go. Hi, Dan. Thanks, Gooch. If we stand pat on DE, this is David Bell. Wouldn't this say that we've got high expectations for Kane, Doe, and Herring? Not my take. I'm sold on Veach signing DE and Spags using Karlaftis on passing downs on the interior defensive line. Not necessarily. Herring is still like they can feel good about him all they want, but it's still a question mark. I mean, he has survived 0 NFL regular season plays. So until you get there and the bullets are flying, like you can't count on anything. I think it says more about their confidence in Mike Dana to save Frank for pass rush situations myself.
Yeah, I think that there's that. There's also a bit, I think there's some upside of Joshua Kando. I did a little bit of a film review on Mike Dana and Joshua Kando last week. If you guys missed it, you can go look. There's some upside there, I think, as a pass rush player. He clearly has some strength too. So they might just be putting some of their eggs in a basket that is not very proven and hoping that it ends up coming to fruition.
Yeah. And I do think that that's not a bad decision either. I think you have to give every possibility a shot here until you have a reason not to, until you have either a signing or a trade that you can accomplish that fixes the situation.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. Teak, thank you. Appreciate you. Great grandfather had a Chiefs fan for 61 years. Congratulations. Good Lord. Mark my word. MVS is the real deal. Straight liner post. He's faster than Hill. Ooh, I've never seen that.
Sorry about that. That's
he had the second fastest recorded game speed. Oh, game speed. Okay, that's fine, but that's not from a that's a flying start basically. That's not acceleration. That's top end, and he does have super long legs, so I can see that. But it's acceleration that makes routes win. So yeah. I agree with you though, Teak. I feel like everything they're showing and saying about him is that he's ahead of where they had hoped he would be in terms of being able to contribute to the offense. So I feel very good about that as well.
His deep speed is definitely there. Everything else is lacking, in my opinion. Just about. Okay.
I like his leaping ability too.
He's got some ball skills, but I guess I was referring to his route running and winning routes.
Change direction. Okay, fair enough. Alan, how do we use CH as the best of his abilities to have a breakout season? What do you think?
Yeah, so this is going to come down to a couple different things. One, his best attribute coming out with was his pass catching and route running. Period. Those were the two best things he did coming out. They have yet to really incorporate him in that. So I want to see a little bit more. They started to do a little bit of experimenting last year, getting him on some of the motions where he comes from out wide, motion inside, runs a little slant route. I think that's going to be useful. But you also have to make sure that you don't run him on 50 outside zone runs a year. You can't do it. He's not, especially if you're going to run outside zone, don't do it from the shotgun, period. Don't do it, especially with Clyde. You force him to turn to the sideline. If you want him to get a cutback lane, he's never hitting it, ever.
He's got to be looking downfield.
Only the elite of the elite can change their direction and get back to a cutback lane from a shotgun outside zone. That's a proven fact.
And he ain't Jamal Charles.
No. So you have to be able to use a mix of the under center run game with the shotgun run game. Use those gap power scheme runs and let him get into the second and third levels where he's the best. That's what you have to do.
Slobber knockers. I want 7 slobber knockers a game, period. And this offense moves. I guarantee it. So excited to see this year's team. I really think we will or could be the all-around team we had in the best team in the last few years. Royce, I like the way you're thinking. And if it comes together the way it's designed to, the offense will be a little bit less explosive, but they'll eat more clock and they'll run more actual plays. And that will protect the defense from being on the field for so much time and snaps. And that helps them. If they can just add some pass rush, it could all work.
Yep.
It could all work. Britton, rant videos available at draft pick level or only rookie and above? It's rookie and above. The draft pick level is just for folks who just want to be in the chats and they don't really watch all the videos or all that kind of stuff. So it's rookie and up there, Britton. Let's see. Joe, Reed's offense seems very easy to defend now that teams like Bengals have proved you can have 0-man boxes and they will still try to throw. That's not the Reed offense. That's the quarterback not taking what's there.
Mm-hmm.
The read offense is still very complex, and that's what they have to get back to. I think they've simplified it because Patrick wants to take shots and he's looking for specific things. And when you're zeroing in on 2 receivers and everybody else is a question mark, that's part of the problem.
Yep.
And we are going to speed up because I know I'm running late. I see the red dot. I'm not even going to open the private chat because Dan's like, you're already slow, dummy. Okay. Scott, from Lockdown, you said only 2 are locked for the 53 roster at the running back spot. You're right. You think PM15 has a slim chance of making the squad? Well, yeah, I was talking about the running back position. Because I could see Rojo getting cut. I could see Pacheco having to go to the practice squad. I could see McKinnon being the backup to CH. Just none of it's for certain. The only thing that I know is they can't give up on CH because of the draft pick. And they're not going to give up on Burton because he's reliable in everything they ask him to do, particularly teams. But when they need 3 yards, he gets it. When they need to fake out the Chargers and leap over people, he gets it. He scores touchdowns. Like, I'm sure there's a bigger Mike Burton fan somewhere. I just don't know who it is besides me. So, David, thank you for the super sticker support. Appreciate it, buddy. Here's Gooch's question. Okay,
there it is, Gooch.
Thank you, Gooch, for supporting the channel. This is what Gooch is about. He supports the channel and then he makes content for the channel because he wants to give you guys what he thinks and what he knows. And his question or topic is: Andy, in 14 years, had a 58 and 24 run pass ratio, and it was pretty high with Hunt. Can we stop acting like Andy doesn't know, or maybe he just doesn't trust Clyde's skill set? I don't think it's necessarily Clyde's skill set, but you're right. He has gone over 40 before. And I think it was, maybe it was the freshman rookie season for Hunt, but he hit 38 in Kansas City once.
Yeah, he did.
And I'm not asking for 50-50. 35, 40%. I'm happy as a clam. I don't know that it's skill set though. Maybe it's set up and maybe it's just that with the quarterback, you don't want to take the dump downs, the arrows, the short routes that Clyde excels at and did in college. But also, I think the O-line has transformed to reflect more of the style that LSU's line had when Clyde was amazing. Maybe it can all come together, Gooch. I don't know.
It's a very simple explanation. The 2 best quarterbacks you can argue Andy Reid had in his career outside of Patrick Mahomes are Alex Smith and Donovan McNabb. You can argue. Those are the 2 best quarterbacks he had. The highest passing totals, attempts that Donovan McNabb had, he hit 571 once. Every time below that, every year other than that, you have 470, 460, 473, one time 493. Alex Smith, 400, 501 time in Kansas City. The very last season, 505. That's because they added Tyrek Hill, and they had still with 505 pass attempts, Alex Smith got 4,042 yards. Period. I don't necessarily count Vic Knight Hunter because that was at the end of Vic's career. It wasn't prime Vic. Okay. In his prime, I would give it to you, but it's not. And going to Patrick Mahomes, 580 his rookie year. That's with Kareem Hunt, 580.
Right. Did it go up from there?
Well, he had his second year, which was injured, so that was 484. But still, that's 484 in an injury season. 588, 2020. 658 pass attempts last year. 658. This is a passing offense. This is with the best quarterback he's ever seen. They are leaning into the pass. It's very, very evident. Even with the run pass option that it was in 2017 with Alex Smith. That was the most he ever threw.
And I just want the Alex years back. I'm not asking for like a 50-50 split or nothing.
No, I'm not either. But so we have it's a big dilemma with the passing. The passing is taking an uptick. So it's Alex Smith and Donovan McNabb versus Patrick Mahomes. He's taking Patrick Mahomes over everything. Yeah. And I don't have any issues.
Yeah, well, I have issues, but that's okay. But Gooch, I agree with you. It's not that Andy doesn't know. I think honestly, I think Patrick's making more of the decisions out there, especially in the RPO game than we even let on. So, Steven, if Pacheco doesn't make the team, who will be the third down back? I mean, if it's passing situation, it'll be McKinnon is my best guess if Pacheco's not there. I don't think Gore's ready to be a third down specific back. Do you?
No, I still think this is going to be Clyde / McKinnon. I think that they might be a little more confident. I saw growth in the pass protection department from Clyde last year. It's not perfect, but it's not good anywhere else on the roster except maybe McKinnon. So You got to find something.
Yeah, I'm with you. Liz, thank you for pointing this out. And thank you, David. I'm sorry. I have my pre-hockey announcement going on.
Nice.
The wife will be shouting here in about 10 minutes, so everybody be warned. David asks, will Gordon and Ross make the 53? And thank you for the appreciation, David. What do you think, Dan? What's your general feeling?
My general feeling right now is that if Ross doesn't, then Gordon has a better chance to. I don't think right now either of them do. But again, I haven't seen them. I'll need to see them in training camp with pads on, how they're doing, before I can actually make a real assessment. But right now, I lean towards no for both.
Okay. For both.
Yeah.
I think one of them makes it. I just can't tell who. I just can't. I think Therese Fountain is the 6, and he stays because he'll play everything that Dave Toub wants him to play.
And that's why I don't think that Gordon and Ross will make it unless Ross bursts onto the scene in training camp. Because I think that Fountain has got the big body, the size, but he plays special teams.
Right, but who's going to be the 5 then?
It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be somebody. And I'm telling you right now, I've already told you it's going to be Powell. So you know who I think it's going to be.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Okay. All right. Yeah.
But yeah.
This is going to be so fun when cut down day comes. Steve, what can we learn? What can we learn from the Golden State Warriors, who won another championship using draft and other teams' former first rounders? I mean, it's the same concept that Brett Veach uses. And I, for one, I'm sorry, folks. There is no correlation between NBA basketball and NFL football.
Sorry, Steven. It's not.
I know Bucky Brooks, I love him. But he uses this crutch all the time. It is not a basketball team. Basketball players are the most pompous, spoiled brats in the history of college athletics. I've coached them. There is no difference. So that it drives me nuts. But you nailed it in that drafting, developing through the draft and taking former first rounders that maybe didn't work somewhere else. It's exactly what Veach does. So I don't know, chicken or the egg. I don't know who's running the Golden State Warriors, but I think you're just going to see more of it, Steve.
There's so much more variation with football with 11 players trying to make 53 players trying to make a roster than you get with 5 starters, 5 backups, and a couple extra benchmen. Like there's so much more variance in being able to play in the NBA. It's so much more different than trying to play in the NFL with contact and guys that are just that much better. I don't know. I try not to compare the two because I don't do it justice. But
and I'm not trying to call out Bucky Brooks either. Bucky, if you see this or somebody points this at you, I'm not trying to call out Bucky Brooks. I'm just saying, not everything can be compared to baseball and basketball when you're talking about 11-man gladiator football. It's just not the same. Okay, thank you, Liz, for pointing that out. You guys, if you would hit the thumbs up, that'll help more Chiefs fans find us. And right now, this is like our prime growth time because everybody's like, ooh, I want Chiefs information. There's nothing out there. They'll come to YouTube and they'll look and they'll find us. So if you guys would hit that thumbs up, it would definitely help. All of the new players, who do you think has the biggest impact this season? Ooh, all of them? Like free agents, draft picks, all of them. Good Lord.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
It is. 2K, you are winning the questions today. Dang. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Brian Cook.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say Sky Moore. Let's go.
Ooh, okay, I like that.
Let's go full bore.
Royce, the lab in Coach Basement is all locked up. The red lights are flashing saying keep out. If he comes out and has that crazy look in his eye the rest of the NFL, better be in great fear. You're absolutely right. And I know he's got a little hamburger stand or something down there. So he doesn't have to come out anytime soon.
Ever.
He could redevelop the entire playbook down there. Steve, what does Trey Smith need to improve on this season? Were you disappointed by Legarius last season? Trey, I mean, if he dropped 15 pounds, his feet would lighten up and he'd be even better.
It's the biggest. He's got 2 problems: footwork and weight distribution. That's it. He's an over-aggressive guy, and it gets him in trouble because his feet can't recover. If you can recover, guess what? You could be as aggressive as you want to as an interior offensive lineman.
If he were to do that and he could maximize that recovery time, he could be an all-pro.
Yes,
that's how good Trey Smith can be.
Very much. But again, balance, footwork, it's very important to playing offensive line.
I personally was not. I know a lot of folks are kind of like on Legarius. I thought for everything they heaped upon him, moving him to the nickel and making him do that constantly, which is so much more complex than people give it credit for. I thought he played just fine. It just wasn't the step ahead you were looking for. I think now this is the prime time. Am I wrong?
I was a little disappointed early in the season, and then he took some strides. He started to make some key tackles later in the season. He looked more comfortable. So I think he finally settled in and was really taking a step. Now we're going to see what we're going to do this year, and it's going to be, if he's on the outside full time, then okay. But if he's not, then he's going to be comfortable being that player in the nickel that he was moving back and forth last year.
Agreed. Everybody, if you would hit the thumbs up if you believe Mahomes is Derek Carr's dad. Cole, with the running back room as full as it is now, who's the odd man out and what happens with them? I think it's Gordon. It's probably the practice squad.
Yep, that's where I'm at right now. It's going to be Derek Gore. Yeah. I think it's going to be him,
and that's okay. He's still got room. I saw flashes I like, but he still has room for improvement. Practice squad will be just fine because they go through running backs around here.
Yes, they do.
So there'll be opportunity. Mr. Gooch is back. Thank you. Me and Dan on a rant. That's like Shannon always showing Skip why he's wrong. I mean, I'm willing, but as the boys, I'm generally always right. Yes. Well, that's all right. You know, you still got to go out there and do it. So
that conversation that takes place in your own head is why you're always right. So I understand.
I think that is a great concept for an episode, you guys. Make it happen. That's all I'm saying. Good Lord. And thank you, Gooch. Julian, who has the more explosive plays of 20 plus, 40 plus between McCole, MVS, Sky, and Juju?
Ooh. I think it's going to be Hardman, and I don't think it's going to be very close.
I agree, but who's second?
I'm going to say Sky, and
I'm going to say MVS.
See, the only reason I disagree is because they're still going to keep the top on. MVS does his best downfield. If you can't keep, if you can find ways to get him down those, okay, I'm with you. But right now we don't have anything for it. I think Sky can still give you more underneath. They can generate into bigger plays. So that's why I would go Hardman and Sky.
I agree with you. Like that 12-yard and under is Sky's range. In my head, I keep seeing MVS do some of the things Sammy did, like on Wasps, when Sammy had options that were still 15, 20, 25 yards down the field. Yeah. They just weren't like, TDs every time.
I'm hoping. I would love to see them get that intermediate deep part of their game back that it was gone last year. I would love it.
That medium over is perfect for MVS. Stevie had, and thank you, Stevie. It's true. Gooch is always writing in his mind anyway. Yes.
see, even Stevie agrees with me. He's telling
we got to have a round table here pretty quick with all of us on. CEH gets an injury again this year. How long before they release him? They will not until they'll let his contract run out because he's cheap as all get out.
Yeah.
But what did I miss?
I just saw a comment on it. But yeah, they won't release. Then they'll just let the contract run out. If this is a third year in a row where he misses multiple games, he's probably done, but he'll have the rest of his contract in Kansas City.
Okay. Julian's next one. Who has the longest play from scrimmage this year?
It's going to be Hardman. He's got the deep speed, the acceleration to do it. So I do believe it's going to be McCole Hardman.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you. I believe so too. And I think it might be, one of those quick slants from the 12-yard line that goes for 88. Like that's the kind of thing I see in my head.
I'd love it.
Scott Province, is Burton being utilized properly? For the most part, in terms of play design, yes, it's just not enough. But I do think you remember some of those things where Travis would come underneath and then they let Sherm come underneath and get the little underhand thing. Like that's next for Burton. Like, it'll come. There's gonna be things. Just got to use him more is all. Steve, Mike Florio said Chiefs got traded Tyrek because he was on the verge of turning into a diva. Do you agree? I don't know if anyone actually speaks to Mike Florio, so I put nothing into his opinions on any of this. If there's a fact that he can report or a legal term that he can actually explain, I'll listen to him. But this, how he hears rumors, nobody talks to that guy. Are you kidding me? No, that's
not one person.
I've heard a completely different story about how and why the trade happened, and it was completely amicable between the front office and Tyrek. All this blow up stuff is just him trying to elevate what his post career is going to be, and that's going to be in media. So I don't think it had anything to do with what was going on in the building. What good edge would you trade for? Who would you give up? Would you give up Thornhill? No, I would not give up Thornhill. I would trade for maybe Sweat. Either of the Washington football team edges. I'd trade for Chase Young. Like I think he can be rehabilitated. I know people are
Yeah.
disappointed, but I think he's got upside. I mean, anybody not named TJ Watt? I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's tough to find guys you would be able to trade for, because the ones you want are typically defensive cornerstones, and the other guys you don't want to trade for. So
Yeah.
it's tough to really get that spot out there. It's just, I don't know. I'm kind of not in the I want to trade for a proven player, because you're gonna have to either overpay and then pay them anyway, or you could get someone who's not worth it.
Fair enough. All right, folks, we're going to lock it up here, and we're going to run through the rest of the questions because we're at the hour mark. Gooch started it, and thank you, Gooch. Stern is the best NBA commissioner ever. Look at where he took basketball. I happen to agree with you.
I misspoke about Stern. I meant the most liked. I didn't mean best. I apologize about that, Gooch. That's my fault. Gotcha.
And his lieutenant took over before. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I thought Stern did a very good job, especially because he had some major fallouts to deal with, like the whole thing with the Bulls falling apart, all that kind of stuff. Simon Nitz, how do you see the running core? I hope CH McKinnon, Pacheco on the 53, at least Ely in the practice squad. For me, you have to have 4 Gordon Rojo fighting for the last spot. I think McKinnon's going to be the third down back. I think Rojo is definitely the backup, unless there's just something we haven't heard yet. And I hope that Pacheco makes the roster. I want to see them use him because I love how he searches for contact. It's one of my favorite things about him. Yeah. Don't worry about the pass rush. Our new D-line coach is going to turn Josh Kano into a water boy. Man, Jackson, I hope you have a crystal ball, because Josh Kano doesn't even play a position that Coach Cullen likes. Coach Cullen is a 3-4 guy. So Kano is not one of those dudes. Like I know he has spark. Dan showed you last week. Can he put it all together and be productive? I just don't know. Dan, recap for everybody. What do you think, bottom line, that Kano can bring?
He's got pass rush upside. He needs to get the plan figured out. He has a lot of different tools. It's disconnected. It's disjointed. A lot of it from not being able to develop at Florida State. When you have tools and you can't really figure that counter out and get the plan right and speed up your process, it makes you look bad. He beat Rashawn Slater 3 times one-on-one last year. Rashawn Slater is a very, very, even as a rookie, a very good left tackle in the NFL. There's something there. He's got to speed up and get his plan right, so he could be a legitimate starter in this league, in my opinion.
Danbo, am I the only one predicting, as I predicted with Breathe and Speaks, that Karlaftis will be a huge failure bust? Yes, I think you are the only one predicting that, because I don't even feel that way. I don't think he has the upside to be an elite edge rusher, but I think he's going to be very good and solid. Like, I hate to say Kerrigan's name again, but that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, if you can get to Kerrigan, that's exactly what you're hoping for. But I think we thought he was a high floor player. I was upset with the pick because I didn't like the upside. Again, we'll see. Every player has the opportunity to prove us wrong, prove us right. We'll get that opportunity. I never, ever want to see someone.
Oh, I lost you there. It might be my internet. Who knows?
Oh, no.
Okay. Why not make it a 50-yard dash at the combine? Bill Walsh believe players hit their top speed at 60. If you look at sprinters, it is about 60, 65 yards where they generally hit their peak. But the reason they don't make it 50 yards now is because what you saw in the NFL last year. If you play deep safeties, it doesn't matter how fast you run because they're already back there. Now the game is about how you change directions in order to break coverage and break the mirror that the DBs have on you. That's the only reason.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go away from the 40 and they just look at field speed and a 20 just to judge acceleration. Will Mike Rose make the 53? In my projection, he does.
Yeah, I think
Do you
so.
agree, Dan? Yeah.
I think he's got a great chance.
Ryan, our chief set at the secondary. Set? I mean, there could always be something crazy. Somebody cuts a veteran DB, like they could scoop him up, but they have a ton of young talent. So I don't think they're looking to fill any roles. What's your opinion on the Saquon rumors? I think it's silly. When someone from the New York franchise says, hey, we'll listen to offers, then we can start talking about it. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just some website making stuff up. And I will bring back my rumor bashers this year. If they continue to just make crap up, I will tell you why it's stupid. Wasn't Juju signed prior to Tyrek leaving possession receiver? Yes, like that. They were going to be the tandem, right?
Yeah.
Like he was going to be the inside guy. So yeah, that was kind of the timing of it. Everything evolves, but you never know. Where do you stand with Saquon rumors? Yeah, it's all BS. Chiefs O-line, defensive line allows over under 10 sacks, over under 5 turnovers Ints force fumbles. Thoughts? My only question would be, how are you attributing turnovers and ints to the offensive line? I mean, like he's in the grasp and throws it up again? That's just bad decision-making on his part. So I got to take the over on all of them.
You have to, I think, right? It's just not within the realm of realistic possibilities that they have under 10 sacks given up. Like Mahomes gets out of the pocket. He likes to still make plays. He is still a risky player at times. So I will take the over as well.
Yeah. I'm not happy about it. Thank you, Julian. Night Hunter, what would Ryan do? Yeah, I mean, run the damn ball. That's what I do. I mean, yeah. Okay, there's another shirt. Crap. I don't know about anyone else, but I put a hell of a lot more stock in a player's game speed than I ever will.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's true measurement. But the thing that they don't show you is when you get a DB, like say a safety, who's already got momentum and like at a jog, when he breaks on something, he's going to reach a faster miles per hour than a wide receiver starting from a dead stop. So it's not apples and apples. And that's the thing that I think all the Amazon tracking and all the dots kind of mislead people on. There's multiple kinds of speed, quote unquote, and acceleration is the one that you really got to nail in on.
Yeah, the 10-yard split is really what I'm looking for with the 40. Yep. And if it tracks on field as well, then that's always good. Like that's what you're really looking for. Does the game speed match what you see on the 40? Because then you're like, okay, I'm cooking with something. If not, you have to question, okay, do I have to go back now, really see if he has that game speed that I thought he did, or is this just something he doesn't do well?
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, it's amazing how you can train a guy for 3 or 4 weeks on how to do a start on a 40.
Yes.
He'll drop a 10th. It's ridiculous. I mean, it is a technique that makes a huge difference. Do you think Jerick McKinnon will pick up where he left off last year? I think he was really playing well at the end. You're absolutely right, Casey Rich. Given the opportunity, I think he could. I just don't know if he's going to get that many touches to begin.
I don't think they should.
You want to save him
fresh.
Yep.
He showed to be valuable at the end of last season. He played sparingly throughout the season last year. Keep him fresh. Period.
I'm with you. I'm not sure what didn't need to be said, Stevie, but yeah. Okay, cool. I'm just going to ignore that now. Rank these Chiefs GMs, Pioli, Veach, Peterson, Dorsey.
I'm not going to be able to answer this question. Sorry.
Peterson, Veach, Dorsey, Pioli. And Veach has the asterisk because Veach is the GM, but he answers to Andy. That's very different than the other guys. They were the final say. Andy Reid is the biggest man in the organization, and that changes things a little bit because Brett gets an artificial bump because Andy's okaying or specifying what he's doing as well. Why do you think they didn't keep Melvin Ingram one more year? They tried, Rick. I don't think Melvin really wanted to be here in the first place. They picked him up on a trade, if you remember. So I think he was looking. When they put that tag on him, I think he went out and got himself a deal that he knew would get him out of Kansas City.
I agree. I don't think he ever wanted
to.
Maybe
they misjudged that relationship.
I think he has real hatred for Kansas City after playing with the Chargers for years. I think he holds on to it, and he just like
the Chargers.
Put it aside while he maybe get a Super Bowl, but I don't think he wanted to be here ever.
That's fair. Bradley, for the Chiefs to put the fear of God back in the rest of the league, does Andy and Patrick have to play 3-card Monty with the ball and keep them guessing where it's going? That is the idea. Partially, yeah, I do think that they got away from some of the trickery and some of the misdirection. Like motion is motion for multiple things. One, it's to get information, but and he's also used it in years past to misdirect what the rule sets are for the defense because they know what their triggers are and they can do that. I think they got away from some of that as well. And maybe that's the other personnel that weren't Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with you. Well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun season. I'll tell you that right now.
All right, we're going to speed through these last 10 and we're out. In a worst case scenario, if it happens that Mahomes gets injured, who gets the tap on the shoulder? It's Henne. It's always going to be Henne.
Always. As long as he's on the roster, it'll be Chad Henne.
Yeah, like he can play till he's 38 for Andy Reid because Andy will trust a veteran that knows the system. I mean, hell, they might suit up Matt Nagy after that for all that. Over under 10 on receiver drops between Hardman, MVS, Sky, and Juju. Who will have the most? Ooh, that's a good one.
Over under 10 drops. I'm going to go over 10. drops, and I do think MVS is going to have the most drops.
I'm going to go under, and I think Sky had the most. He's the only guy who hasn't caught a huge volume of balls from Patrick.
He's also got the biggest hands of anybody in this. So
I know. Did you see that? You guys, I put out that little thing last week, right? The whole point of running that video was to show you that one-handed catch because he literally wraps around the laces. It's crazy. His hands.
Sky Moore's hands are nuts.
Yeah, it's oh man. Ryan, who will the Chiefs play? Will the Chiefs play more in the preseason this year? You mean the starters? Probably not. I mean, they may just to get all the wide receivers on track, but like, I don't think they're going to play Patrick more than they did last year, to tell you the truth. Because, I mean, let's be honest. It's all good, but if Patrick misses games, those are L's, man. Those are L's. Teak, if CH wasn't a first rounder, he wouldn't be starting. CH is too small. I don't think it's a small thing. I don't think he's explosive as he looked at LSU. That's my big thing. And you're right. If he was a third rounder, no, he would not be.
Yeah, last year was a real bad year for him getting back to his explosive. I think if he looked like he did in his rookie season, he would still be a starter. And I think if he does this year, he will still hold that. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can get back to full health, get some of that back.
We're the wide receivers to watch for next year's wealth of picks. Addison from USC. I'm trying to.
You got Josh Downs. You've got Jermaine Burton. You've got Jackson Smith and Jigba, Keishon Boutte. Like, dude, there's a lot of fun. This class is going to look different. I tell you, I'm doing a lot of the scouting right now. You can go see that on NFL33.com. We are doing scouting reports and focusing on wide receivers and offensive linemen. This class is smaller. It's a bit smaller in terms of height and weight, but it is fun. They have a lot of raw physical ability that you just can't teach. They're a very fun group.
Thank you for this one, Terry. I appreciate that. The wife will be screaming either way. I'm surprised I haven't heard her yet, but if you haven't subscribed to Back Talk Bros, go get it, you guys. It's right here, and this is in the chat. It should be clickable, and I'll try to put it back in the show notes here after the game tonight as well. Let's see. Thank you, Terry. Aaron, don't forget Snead lost his brother last year. Man, that's a good point. I totally forgot about that. I don't think he has. You're absolutely right. And from what I understand, like, if you guys missed it about Willie talking about mental health, Willie had a child born very, very early and was in the NICU for a long time. Like, he would spend all day at the facility, get done at 7 or 8 o'clock when they break meetings, and they need to go to the hospital for hours on hours on hours. So, like, a couple of guys had some really significant things in their lives to overcome. Thanks for pointing that out, Aaron. Because that's
very good. Thank you, Aaron.
Gooch, I mean, if we're taking shots already, I'm already up on you with the Powell.
You know,
it doesn't mean he's a bum. He's just not ready to play in the NFL.
I also understand that a broken clock is right twice a day. So it's okay. It's okay. We're all going to have wrong.
We have to make this into a show, you two. I'm going to need a little more of your time, Gooch. But thank you for the support.
Thanks,
thank you, KL. Did having Tyrek hurt fans' perspective on Hardman? That's an interesting way to look at it.
So I think yes and no, because the biggest thing that comes up is that Mecole Hardman was drafted in case Tyreek Hill gets suspended, meaning a lot of people interpret it, he's going to be Tyreek Hill's replacement. That paints a bad picture because he doesn't do the same things. There's nobody in the NFL that can do what Tyreek Hill does with his short area quickness and his re-acceleration. That's the key thing. Tyreek Hill's re-acceleration is the best I think we've probably ever seen. He can go from 0 to 100, then back to 0, and then back to 100 faster than anybody ever.
It is crazy.
Mecole Hardman has got extremely good 0 to 100, but he can't stop and then restart. That's the big problem. And he can't do the side to side. So while I think that you're probably onto something there, they're two completely different players.
Yeah. But I think for the fans' perspective, yes, like it set it up to be, I think something he probably is going to have trouble ever living up to. And you know what? All that to say that Tyreek, good luck doing that with Tua. Sexy accident. Do you believe that, or who do you believe will be the tackle leader this year? I think Bolton.
Oh, yeah.
If it's not Bolton, something's going wrong. The whole defense, the whole 4-3 defense is meant to funnel tackles to the middle linebacker.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
He was almost the tackle leader last year. Like he had
was he not?
I think he may have been. He had a ton of tackles last year.
He was like 112 last year, I thought.
Total, I think something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, that's awesome. And the thing is, I think he had the third lowest missed tackle rate of any middle linebacker in the league as a rookie. So, I mean, that's I'm living in a fairy tale land. I'll probably be here forever. But is there any chance where Bolton, Gay, Chanel, and Saunders are all on the field at once rushing a QB? Rushing?
Oh, I was going to say yes
No.
until we got to that point. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen.
Because all those guys are going to play second level, except for Saunders, who might actually be playing at the second level too. If you have those four linebackers, you switch to a 3-4, and those are your linebackers, you could do an all-out blitz and send them all. So maybe, but that's a 2023 thing when Cullen's running the defense. Oh, did I say that? Sorry. What about the edge? What about the edge we had stashed from Bama?
You mean from Georgia? I think he's talking about
Herring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked his upside. He could play inside as well when I watched his film coming out. He just had the ACL, right. What was it? It was draft training.
It was
right?
like draft. Yeah, he was doing during draft training. That's tough, man.
So, I mean, other than the reporters, no one's seen him yet. Only the reporters have been allowed to be at practice. In camp, we'll have an idea, Mo, and we'll get back to that. Shout out to you, Big Chief Sean, part of the RGR family. All of our contributors here are family, and I appreciate everything that you guys all do for us. So you guys, we do this at RGR. Dan and I are locked here. We do this. We do NFL 33. Sean does this. He does Sean's channel. The guys do their channel. There's more room for support for everybody. So go check out everything everybody else is doing here. And maybe even the new guy. Oh, did I say new guy? We'll talk to you guys about that later.
There's a new guy?
And here's the channel again. Make sure we get that. And then last question of the night. I believe this is the last super chat. I'm just checking right now. Okay. Don't throw one in right now. It's okay. The puck has dropped, so we're going to get after it. Longest run from scrimmage, who? How long? What running back will have the best year in rushing yards and total yards from scrimmage? Thanks, Tom. Appreciate your support as always. Who is it, Dan? Nail it down.
So we're going to give you a kind of a scapegoat answer because it's going to be McCole Hardman and end around, and he's going to get the longest run from scrimmage. But if we want running back, I do think it's going to be Rojo. If he makes the roster, he'll have probably the best run, round 50. I think he can get a 50-yard run. What I would say, and I do think the Clyde's going to lead the team in rushing yards and total yards from scrimmage. I think that he's going to have the best season. I think he's going to look closer to what he was his rookie year, and he had over 1,000 yards total. 800 rushing yards and 400 pass catches. So I think that is within his realm of possibilities.
I'm going to agree with you completely, except for the longest run from scrimmage is going to be Pacheco.
Oh, I don't project him getting any runs. So
I think he's going to. Spards, I'm sorry I missed you, but I have it here on this other screen. So hold on a second. I will definitely get it. If I missed any other super chats, folks, let me know. I guarantee you we will answer them every time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put it on the screen. I'm sorry, Spards. I must have missed it. But he asked, with Spags having autonomy on defense and Andy really the offensive mad scientist, when it comes to EB, are we winning because of him or in spite of him? Thanks for the great content. Thank you for the great question, Spards, and thanks for the patience. I'm sorry I missed that the first time around. Wow. Because of or in spite of EB, is it a positive contribution or is it just manning the ship and not really contributing?
I'm telling you right now, we're going to find out. This year with Matt Nagy on the staff, in the next 2 years, we're going to find out if it's just him manning the ship and doing exactly what Andy Reid tells him to do, because he talks to the media well, and I think he handles himself well in front of media. We're going to see. I'm more inclined to think that Matt Nagy is a better option at offensive coordinator than Eric Bieniemy is. And as much as we project that he was involved in all of the decision-making and play-making and things like that, I've become less confident over the last few years that EB has done as much as previous members before him. I'll just say that.
Okay. That's a good way to put it. I'm claiming the fifth. I'm not answering that.
Yeah, it was dangerous enough, so I had to give it something.
Shoot, I missed Holly too. Okay, hold on a second, Holly. I'll get you as well. I promise.
Sorry, guys, we had a bad day with some super chats. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and he's being nice. That means I had a bad day. I screwed it up.
I could have seen it too.
Poll for Ryan, Dan, and the chat. So everybody vote. I'm starting to get into my art for the first time in years, and I want to draw a Chiefs player. Votes on who my first Chiefs portrait should feature. Ooh, that is a good idea, Holly.
I personally think it should go to the longest tenured Chief, Travis Kelce.
Ooh, I like that one. I think it should go to the guy that they'll miss if he's not further tenure next season. I think you should draw Chris Jones as a Chief.
Oh.
I don't think he's going anywhere, but a lot of folks are concerned, so I say jump on it.
Yeah, I like both of those.
Oh, and Red Hood, you win. That's what it is.
Well,
Holly.
then.
Put those two guys together in an image we've never and will never be able to see in reality.
Not much you can do about the two greatest Chiefs of all time.
That will be gorgeous. Yes. Thank you. And thank you all for your patience. I'm sorry I missed those, but thank you for being here. And thank you for supporting the channel. As we go into this summer, I know nobody likes June and July, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
But we're only 6 weeks away, folks. 6 weeks. Less than that now. 27th of July. So a month and 7 days. I think there's a few extra days in June, though, right? So, I mean, we're getting there. It's not going to take long. We're going to run down. We're going to have all the information you need to get ready for the season. And then, good Lord, when camp starts, it's all over.
There we go.
I'll be in a new house by then. Hopefully, I'll have some more to offer you guys. So, last one, brand new member. I want to shout you guys out when you guys join. A read unshaken.
Nice.
I like a read unshaken.
Nice.
I like it shaken, not stirred as well. So thank you. But hey, welcome to the memberships. You guys have a great Monday night. We have film. We have breakdown this week. We have Chief in the North on Thursday. All on, so forth, so on. Going rant from Dan for the members. Get signed up. We'll talk to you all next time.